This is Coach on and off the court, where we navigate the intersection between business and sports. I'm Coach Frank Knight, and on today's episode, we're going to sit down and talk to Faatimah Amin-Ra, President, CEO, and founder of the Women's Premier Basketball Association. She is a current professional basketball player, a member of the Jamaican National Team, and the face and the hustle behind the Women's Premier Basketball Association. We're going to talk to her about where the WPBA is going next, the success it's had, a documentary that's coming out. I'm also going to have on an NCAA basketball player, Aidan Mahaney. Aidan Mahaney played at St. Mary's College, transferred to UConn right after the national championship win, and now he's at UC Santa Barbara, where he's going to start his senior campaign. We're going to sit down and talk to Aidan about what he's doing, about how he's getting his body ready for this last season, and then what he's going to do next. What is going to be his pivot as he moves forward in his basketball journey. We're also going to talk about an up-and-coming coach. I have a new segment where we're going to highlight up-and-coming coaches and spotlight them. The first one I want to talk about today is going to be Damari Milstead. When I was young and first started coaching in 1999, my vision of coaching, when I closed my eyes and imagined coaching, I saw some of the greats from my area when I thought about it. People like Frank Laporte and people like Mike Phelps, Clint Williams, Dwight Nathaniel, of course, Frank Alaco, my mentor, who gave me my first job in 99. But I thought about all these men, and I remember going to the games, watching them and examining how they did their craft and trying to steal a couple of things from them that I liked and added it to my repertoire. And over that time, I kind of would wish that because technology and there wasn't things like this, like podcasts and things like that, where one of those guys could kind of take me under their wing, kind of give me some kudos and some props for some of the stuff that I was doing. And I would have loved for one of those guys in this kind of situation to be able to say, hey, Coach Frank, I see what you're doing. Good job. So I wanted to start this segment to highlight some up and coming coaches in the field, in their different fields. The first person I want to talk to, I want to start at home, is Damari Milstead. Damari Milstead played for me in high school, earned a full ride scholarship to GCU. When he was there, he played for Dan Marley. And Dan Marley was taking GCU from Division II to Division I. They were making that transition. He played a couple years there, and then he moved and transferred back home and played at USF under Todd Golden, good friend of mine. Todd just won a national championship last year at the University of Florida. So Damari played for him for 1 year there, and then transferred and ended up playing and finishing his career at Cal State Fullerton under Coach Dietrich Taylor. First of all, that is a great coaching tree to be under. You're under Dan Marley, you're under Todd Golden, you're under Dietrich Taylor, back to back to back, all excellent, top-notch coaches in the college coaching field. He did that, and then he graduated. He won I think they're in the Big West. Yeah, he won a Big West championship in 2022 under Dietrich Taylor. They went to the NCAA Tournament, so he had that experience. And then graduation hits. What do you do next? And that's the theme of this show. And we always try to talk about it. What happens next? So Damari, who was a really, really good player, decided to take his skills and put it on the market overseas. He ended up playing a year in Germany, did really, really well. Would come back during those times and come to our open gym. We do an alum open gym run during Christmas. And he came back and talked to the kids and was kind of telling us about where he was in his career and where he was in his basketball journey and what he was going to do next. Damari decided that he wanted to pivot. He wanted to move from playing to coaching. And he made that decision, and he ended up at Loyola Marymount in Southern California. Loyola Marymount is in the West Coast Conference. A very good program, historically very, very good program, but he ended up there as a grad assistant under a really, really good coach, Dan Johnson. All right. So now you have Stan Johnson, who he's been under. He's played overseas already. He's been under Dietrich Taylor. He's been under Todd Golden. He's been under Dan Marley. And on the staff at LMU, Stan is doing a great job at LMU, by the way. He's got Lorenzo Romar on that staff. He's got Lewis Wilson on that staff. I think he's got Mark Phelps on that staff. So Stan is doing a great job. And they have Damari there as a director of ops now. So he's moved from a grad assistant to a director of ops position on the staff. So, Damari, you have a high ceiling, man, in this business, man. Your future's bright. We want to acknowledge you here at Coach On and Off the Court. I remember the first day this last past year that the open period happened where college coaches can come on campus to see kids. Damari Milstead was in Hayward. He was in our gym the first day open, doing his job, making sure he wins in his backyard. So I want to make sure I win in my backyard. So the first person I wanted to acknowledge in our up and coming coach segment is Damari Milstead. We see you out there, young man. Keep it going. I want to welcome to the show a good friend of mine, Faatimah Amin-Ra. She's the founder and CEO of the Women's Premier Basketball Association. She is a professional athlete herself, member of the Jamaican National Team. She's a mentor, an entrepreneur, straight hustler. I'm glad to have her on the show. Faatimah, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, Frank. Honestly, it's always a pleasure.
Now, Faatimah, I had you come and talk to my class about, I think it was last year, came and talked to my sports and society class. And I have to say this, of all of the speakers I had come in, you were by far the best. The kids enjoyed you. They turned in the best work based on your interview. So when I started this podcast, Coach On and Off the Court, I'm like, who can I have on there that is really good? You were one of the first people I thought of. So I'm glad you made it. And I want to jump right into talking to you about your journey and coaching on and off the court, right? So, Faatimah, when did you fall in love with basketball?
I probably have to say, my fifth grade year, ended up making, friends with the girl that ended up being my best friend, but the way she played with the game was amazing. And then, ultimately that helped me find my love for basketball through, watching Allen Iverson. And then I knew that, around the time where my family experienced like the most hardship in my sixth grade year, being able to play the game, being able to be around just community, it really helped me at a time when I needed it the most. And I think that, the game provided an alternative for me to just really remember, the power that I held as, a young girl. So that's probably the time I could say, I truly fell in love with the game at that moment.
Tell us about your background, man. Where are you from originally? How you ended up here in the Bay Area? Just what's your journey, your basketball journey, all the way up until where we're getting to now. Don't give up all the good stuff, but just tell us about the beginning journey.
Okay, so originally from Toronto, my family and I moved us here when I was about 5 to, the Bay Area. Middle school, played for a few charter school programs. High school came around. I had the opportunity to play over at St. Joe's in Alameda, and then transferred over to NCAA High School in Alameda as well. That was great for me just because, the group of women that I was playing with, we were able to help change the culture around. We started winning more. So, obviously altogether that helps to improve the school's identity when it comes to, women's basketball. And then, when college came around, I ended up going to 2 JUCOs to begin with. I went to City College of San Francisco my first year. I went to Santa Rosa Junior College my second year. And then I received a full ride to play over at Texas A&M International, a D2 over in Laredo, Texas. Life happens. So I ended up having to make a pivot and ended up going back up north throughout, my entire experience. But even though maybe, when I got to college, I wasn't, you know, I wasn't playing the role that I wanted to play, or, I didn't, think I was getting the minutes that I think I deserved. I was always a part of winning cultures. And I knew what it took to win. I knew, the sacrifices that it took. I know, the type of leadership, the type of just really having to buy into what the entire, mission, the goal is of the team to be able to achieve the ultimate goal is, which is winning. So that really helped me to, get to where I'm at today.
Now, I know you played on the Jamaican National Team, and I know you played overseas. You played in Egypt and some other places. Tell us a little bit about that experience, just your traveling abroad playing basketball.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been blessed enough to play in 12 different countries. You know, my first experience, I started out in Central America, which is interesting because again, if you're not putting up crazy numbers in those types of leagues, that could be detrimental to your career. But you know, I finished university averaging like 3 points per game, busted my butt that summer to get an opportunity, and I've got my foot in the door to play in El Salvador. And that was like 3 months later from graduating. So I ended up finishing that league, being the second leading scorer in the league with 30 points per game, top five and all the other statistical categories that allowed me to, now get looks from places over in Europe, which was ultimately where I wanted to be. Ended up playing in France and, did well there. I like to believe I did really well there. I mean, again, when you have someone that is not more so going on the traditional route of becoming a professional. It's just like
Right.
you really got to see, are they about what they say they're about? And
Right.
I think with every opportunity I've gotten, I've been able to definitely deliver and then some. And I think what's allowed me to do that is by sometimes I'm in the middle of the pack type team, sometimes I'm on the worst team, but I help them move up ranks,
For
and
sure.
at the end of the day, that shows that you can take on that load. You can take on that workload. You can take on that leadership load. You can take on whatever challenges the team is going to be able to give you, and they can trust that you're making the best decision out there as an import player. So, from there, I was able to get my foot in the door. Played in amazing places like Australia, Egypt, Greece, Norway, like Spain,
Traveled the
literally
world.
traveled the world. And I've always been a fan of networking. Like I understand the power in being 1 to 2 to 3 degrees of separation away from someone. So I was thinking about other ways to give me the competitive advantage within my career. And I know that, well, if everyone knows that, and if they don't, here's a gem right now. If you are a player that isn't, just holding a United States passport, there's power in holding an African or Caribbean passport. There's power in holding a European passport. There's power in holding a passport from Asia. There's different tiers that you would fall within, so you're not competing for for an import spot. You can now be considered one of these continue players or these like local players. So I understood, if I want to continue to create longevity within my career, I was like, why not? My mom's Jamaican. I want to be able to represent my country. Like I found the right people to connect with. And at that time, like my work was speaking for itself. I had,
Right.
exceeded expectations in whatever situation that I was in, not situation, but whatever team I was in. So busted my butt to get my passport, get my citizenship because it was during COVID. So it took about like a year and a half, but I was persistent throughout the entire process. When I finally got it, it was like a week before Caribbean qualifier.
Right.
Went out there and not a lot of people know, but like I had COVID like 2 weeks before, and COVID was hitting people like crazy at that point. And like my body, it just took a really long time to adjust, but I went out there and did everything that I could for my team. And I know I was top 7 for a lot of the statistical categories that
Mhm.
were in the tournament. So it just showed that I was able to, be on that global stage with all of those other amazing players that are representing their country.
Now, I know for Timmy, you got to do what a lot of people would love to do. And I tell my players, if you can see the world and
Mm,
play basketball, before you really have to go to work, if
yeah.
you can spend, 3 or 4 years in a different country, those skills are going to help you in whatever job and whatever you pivot into next to. So you had the opportunity to play in multiple countries. You had the opportunity to do it playing basketball. So if you could look back on that, you have one piece of advice. I have a lot of people in my audience who are young women and young men who are getting ready to graduate this year. They're going to exhaust all of their NC2A time, all of their eligibility will end at the end of this year. What's one piece of advice that you would give to them if they want to continue their basketball journey and they may not be good enough to get drafted?
I mean, That's a great question because, again, that now ties into the work that I'm doing here with my league, the Women's Premier Basketball Association. But I think for people that have the opportunity, I would definitely, make sure that you find the right people to support you, find the right people to get this information from. There's a lot of people out here that just love to talk,
Yeah.
but there's very few people that actually execute. So finding those people, finding the right community to support you and to help you, during those challenging times, that's incredibly important. If you're someone that, hasn't gotten drafted, I mean, again, that goes into why I'm doing the work that I'm doing. The Women's Premier Basketball Association is a leading development league for women's basketball. We get the players that fall through the cracks. We get the players that have been away from training camp. We get the players that are looking to sharpen their skills after they've, finished their overseas season. Or we get the players that are just now graduating and they're looking at what does this transition look like from collegiate to now professional. So being able to be a part of associations like this that are going to be able to help you grow not only on the court but off the court, because again, your skills are only going to get you so far. Where we need to see where your level of
Right.
professionalism is at, so that you can create longevity within your careers. What does your
Right.
circle look like? What does your network look like? What is your basketball IQ?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
For sure. So now I want to pivot and I'm going to do something a little different because usually the people I have on the show have stopped playing and moved on to the business world, right? And that's kind of our niche here. Our niche here at Coach On and Off the Court is what are you going to do in that intersection?
Mhm.
Intersection when the ball stops bouncing, when the football is no longer thrown and you can no longer hit the baseball or you cannot throw, you can't play lacrosse anymore, then what do you do next? So you're a little bit different because you're still playing, but you had I want to say the business acumen to be able to start a whole professional league while you're playing, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. So tell me a little bit about that. You had to have some sacrifices. I tell my students all the time, you can't be in two places at the same time.
Mm.
So there's going to be some sacrifices and some roadblocks. Tell me, how did the WPBA start in its infancy?
I mean, in its infancy, it started because, one, it's a two-part thing. I've always been someone that wants to leave something in better shape than how I found it. And I understood that there's so many amazing players that play here in the Bay Area that don't have a platform to be able to help get them to where they want to be. Again, if you don't have that type of support when you graduate from college, or that type of support that you need when you're a professional, you get discouraged and you kind of give up on the dream. So I really wanted to create something that allowed people to continue to believe in themselves, but understand that we're so much more than just being an athlete. We're multidimensional. How are we able to nurture all of those, pieces within us? And then someone told me I couldn't. So as an athlete, naturally, you're like, bet, fine, no problem.
For
Someone told
sure.
me that if you created the Faatimah League, no one would play in it. And I was like, thank you for your feedback. Got on it, prayed on it. You know, God got me is a real thing. So literally, everything I had dreamt of, it was available that next morning when I started searching it online. And I was just like, it's divine timing. Everything is in alignment. This is what I need to be doing. This is where I need to be. As the years went on, because I did start this in 2022.
Mhm.
And, by being able to receive a grant, being a recipient of a grant for, the Women of Courage Award by Congresswoman Jackie Spear, that allowed me to really bring my dream to life in a way for the first year, so that people could really see, we've got something here in
Yeah, yeah,
Oakland, got
yeah.
something here in the Bay Area. So, as every year, went on, we had just finished up our fourth season, third year, because I started this in April 2022. Every year started to get harder. And, after my third season of playing in the WPBA, I had to kind of make a decision because, again, I've been playing pro for 7 years at that point, all year round, it felt like. And I was starting to feel a little bit burnt out. Body was, wear and tear, ended up going through this really big injury and had to kind of make this decision of what I'm going to do. And I understood, just with the current trajectory of women's sports right now. Like I
Mhm.
really needed to figure out, okay, what can I put on hold right now? What can I sacrifice right now so that I can continue to move this vehicle? Really just betting on myself, but it's been uh it's been a interesting, it's been a tough but very enlightening journey that I've been on, and I wouldn't trade it for anything else.
In terms of business savvy, you starting this league when you did, it has to be God's timing. I agree with you with
Absolutely.
the blowing up of women's sports, and now it's getting bigger and bigger. You're seeing companies are starting to invest in it
Mhm.
because they know what's about to happen. I think we all know what's getting ready to happen.
Yeah.
You are on the front end of that curve, so congratulations on that. I'm glad you did it. Now, I want to say you guys had a fundraiser gala. Me
Mhm.
and the wife came to the fundraiser gala in San Jose. We had a great time. First of all, it was a first class event. It was awesome. We had a good time. I got to hang out with some guys I knew. Like I got to talk to Gary Payton. You know, he's a good friend of mine. So I got to talk to him more now that he's coaching.
Yeah.
Me and him talked about some guys on my team and some other guys he's looking for, you know, and just got a chance to talk to him and Sam Moses. Saw a
Mhm.
lot of people in the crowd that I knew. So give us some of the names that showed up at that gala in support of the WPBA.
Oh my God. First we had, Ari Chambers, she was in the building. We had Chastity Melvin. Obviously, Gary came through. We had Kenny Thomas, which was amazing. We had some other big time, execs in the building that, were checking out what was going on, whether they were from Google, whether they were from NVIDIA, like in the tech space, all of that stuff intersects and is, supplemental to the game right now. So, I mean, I think what we did this year, it was a new space for me because again, like putting on something like that is not, it's not a game. It's not,
Yeah,
basketball, but the amount of intention that was put into it and for everyone to receive it the way that I had intended it to be received, I think that was the most special part because it allowed people to really see, why we're doing the work that we're doing and the impact that we're making here. So
since you said that, what is the vision for the league? Give me your vision, man. What is your vision for the WPBA moving forward? What is it now? Share with my listeners. What's the vision of the organization?
I mean, the vision here is to, become the G League. Obviously, that doesn't currently exist on the landscape for women's basketball. And I feel like since 2022, we've been doing that work, especially with the proof of concept that we have, the amount of players we've been able to help, further their careers, whether it's on or off the court. All of that's there. And again, every single season, the competition continues to elevate and get better, and more players get the opportunity, but more doors are now open,
For sure.
for the women.
When you talk about proof of concept, I'm totally with you. Tell us a story about the Valkyrie. Come on, man. I want to hear that story. A lot of people don't know. I don't know if it's okay for me to talk about the story, but did you guys have a team in your league with that same name?
I don't
Uh
know how
oh,
we
uh
can
oh.
share.
Can
Yeah,
you know? I'm gonna.
we
This is part
share.
of what I do. I ask tough questions, man.
We could
Well, tell
talk
me
about
what you
that
can.
off the record.
Tell me what you
Yeah.
can say. Just tell me what you can say, if you can
What
say
I
anything about it.
what I can say is I am extremely excited for, just the growth in women's sports.
Perfect.
Happy to have, a Bay Area team here that, is filling this void for, a lack of a WNBA team that's been on the minds of a lot of people that live here in the Bay Area. So happy for them, super happy for their success. But
For
at the
sure.
end of the day, like I'm doing what I can to help grow the game. And I believe what we're doing with the Women's Premier Basketball Association, we're supplementing the ecosystem. We're strengthening it and creating more opportunities for women that are deserving of it.
Absolutely. I came to the All Star game. Awesome time. That was the first time I got to watch a WPBA game in real life. I was sitting in the front row. I was actually sitting with a bunch of, I think, players who didn't make the All Star game, but
Yeah.
they were there, and it was an awesome time. I felt like I was back in college with my
Yeah.
college guy. We were talking about the games. It was a great game. You had two bigs that were down there banging. You had two
Yeah.
little guards that was running all over the place. It was a great event, and I was sitting there. I think it was me and Tone Davis and Sam Moses was there. A bunch of
Yeah.
people was there. It was a great event. Tell us about the All Star game, man.
All Star game was beautiful. Like I think the special thing for me that really helped me to, kind of put some more things into perspective was the fact that, like, WNBA people were there. I won't name who they were, but we
For
had
sure,
some
for sure.
folks over there in the front office that came to check out what we have going on. We had some other big time basketball figures that are here in the community come out and support and see what's going on. I think to see the community come out for such a special event to really highlight the players that have been handling business, during season, it was great to see. But again, at the end of the day, that was the top tier product that we have on the floor. These players can play. These women have
For
WNBA
sure,
experience. They
for
can
sure.
go. So let's, continue to pour into them so that we can create more opportunities for them to show who they are, but also just give back to the next generation of athletes. Just the same as you being there were so many young girls in the stands that
Yes.
are looking up to these women that are out here on the court doing their thing. And it's helping them to keep the dream alive.
For sure. Now, when you first started this, I know me and you talked a little bit, and I went back and talked to a couple brothers of mine, and we were trying to put together an ownership group to be able
Mhm.
to own one of the teams. Now, financially, because this podcast is about that, tell us a little bit about that. How can we get involved in sponsorship? How can we get involved in ownership? If
Yeah.
I mean, people want to invest in girl and women's sports, straight up
Yeah.
though. And how can we do that in your organization? Tell us.
I mean, right now we're getting ready to leave for, FIBA WBLA. We have some sponsorship opportunities for businesses, local businesses, corporations that are looking to really get behind and support women's basketball, women's sports in the Bay Area. And this is a beautiful opportunity because it is at the FIBA level. FIBA is the international governing body for basketball. For those that don't know what that it is, whenever you're watching the Olympics, it's FIBA.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just to be able to be a part of that huge tournament, that's a huge opportunity that's putting a spotlight on the women here in Oakland. So we definitely need support, whether it comes in forms of donations, whether it comes in forms of sponsorship. We are more than open and welcoming to all of those opportunities because again, that's what's going to be the driving force in helping us continue to move forward. We're getting ready to start our pre-seed round for investment to be able to invest in the league. Later on at a different time, we'll be able to, invest into teams. But we've got big dreams. I've got big dreams for this league. And I know that the people that we have been speaking with, they are incredibly excited to put in their first investment when this becomes available because they see, the type of people that we could possibly be bringing on, not possibly the type of people we're going to be bringing on, the type of support that we're going to be getting moving forward. But those are just a few ways. Right now, we do obviously have our nonprofit website up, womenspba.org. Anyone is free to and very much so invited. We would appreciate the donations
Mhm.
made to that site because it's helping to not only move things forward operationally, but it's allowing us to be able to pour back into the community and help the next generation of athletes.
I remember when I pitched it to my group, my investing group of guys. I pitched it to them. They did some research. They liked it. Their whole thing was what was going to be the ROI, what is going to be the
Yeah,
return on investment, right? And since then, the needle has moved much.
yeah,
So I think if you get involved early now,
yeah,
10, 15 years down the road, this could
yeah.
actually be something I think it's going to be big for team. What do you
Oh,
think?
it's absolutely going to be big, and I truly believe even within the next 3 years. And again, whoever invests, I just want them to be fully like, I don't want someone that's investing that's looking for a quick return. Like,
Right.
I need them to really believe in what we're doing here and ride this out because, again, we see that we're in one of the top 10 sports markets in the country.
For
We
sure.
see the success that the Valkyries are having. They were
For
purchased
sure.
for 50 million.
For sure.
Valuation is at 500 million.
For
So
sure.
the opportunity is a million percent there.
Yeah.
We just need people that really believe in women's sports, really believe in development, because again, it's needed. We need more opportunities. There's only 156 roster spots in the W this season. Yes, they'll grow, over the next 3 years, but there's thousands of players left without opportunities every single year. We need people to understand you are investing in something that is going to create so much change and impact. But again, the money will come But, right now the time is now. And this is a great organization to be a part of.
Yeah, the money's on the back end. I mean, the money is definitely going to be on the back end. People who bought NBA teams back in the day, they're good right now.
Amazing.
Um, and who knows where you guys will end up 10 years from now. The exit may be something different. You may want to sell the whole league. Who knows what's going to go on? But me knowing finance and economics and business, this is a good long-term investment, I would think. So you
Yeah.
just wrapped up year three. You
Yes.
guys just had a championship. Tell us about who won it. And I'm curious, as a coach, how do you guys determine the winner? I think you guys had a tournament of champions. Kind of explain
Yeah.
that to my listeners, please.
Yeah, so our league is set up it's structured a little bit differently. We don't go off wins and loss records. We go off of a point system. So the max amount of points you're able to win each round for each week is 7 points. So you win 3 points for winning a game, and you win 1 point for every quarter that you win. So that's the opportunity to win seven. What this does, it allows teams to play from start to finish, even if there's a blowout, because at
Hmm.
the end of the day, it's who is the strongest when it counts, who's being the most consistent, who's showing up every single quarter, because at any point you could go to sleep, you could fall asleep, you could relax for 2 quarters and only get 5 out of the 7, and the team that lost, they got the 2, but they're chipping away and they're continuing to build. So that allows us to figure out what our seeding is going to be for the Tournament of Champions, which is a 3-day tournament, single game elimination. The first and second team, they will receive byes for the quarterfinal rounds, and now the third through sixth seed, they're going to play it out to see who's going to be able to make it to the semifinals and then make it to the finals.
A
Uh,
single game elimination. That is
it's
wild.
win or go home.
Wow. That's wild. Okay.
And it's
So I'm
just
I-
been,
I'm sure
yeah,
I'm sure the games were super exciting. And go ahead. I'm sure the
they're
games were exciting.
this super exciting. Like oh my goodness, quarterfinals literally came down to the last 6 seconds. 3 pointers, buzzer beaters. The energy was crazy. And then obviously the finals, like the Blaze won it last year.
Hmm.
They were down players, this year, due to injury. But they fought from start to finish, and, came fourth quarter. They were probably down like 14, 16 points,
Hmm.
but they got their second win and they started chipping away. It came down to the last 30 seconds of the fourth quarter. I believe Phoenix were up. Brooke Dimitri hits a three. Bam. They go up, or they're up by 2 at this point. Erica McCall answers back with like a half spin, fadeaway shot, gets tied up. They end up trying to double the ball off the inbounds, and they left Amila Lee open. And,
Oh wow.
she turned the
Knocked
Jets
down.
on. She put it in sport mode, went coast to coast for the layup. Phoenix had 6 seconds to answer, didn't have enough time to, create a play, kind of got bobbled towards, the last 3 seconds. And at that point, everybody rushed the court. It was game.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome ending. Awesome ending. I'm sure that was great. Um, Winding down, just because I know you're busy and I know you got stuff going on. Tell us about the documentary. You guys, they filmed the documentary about the league, or is it about the team? Give me some background on the
Yes.
documentary, and then how my viewers can watch it. I mean, we want to make sure people
Oh,
can get it. So
absolutely.
yeah, give us a rundown.
The documentary, the screening, the premiere last week was beautiful. We had Cheryl Swoops come in. She was on the panel. We had Chastity
Yeah,
Melvin come in. We had Bridget Pettis come in. We had my friend Aisha Brown, who's over at Xbox, come in. We had my friend Brandon Johnson from NVIDIA come in. They were on the panel.
yes.
But the documentary itself was highlighting our experience with being selected as the first U.S. team to be a part of FIBA WBLA. So it was talking about that experience, but also talking about this space of us now stepping into becoming this G League, and
Mhm.
why opportunities like this matter, and how we're in this space creating change and making it happen. So, we were able to, kind of give people an inside look into what the tournament, what everything all entailed, what I kind of had to go through as a business owner at that time, as well as being a player. And the panel afterwards, we were able to do a little bit more of a deep dive with the folks that were in the audience. But that was beautiful. It's streaming tomorrow on Bench at 6 p.m. I
Yes.
highly recommend everybody watch it, because I think even the folks that watched it there that didn't know what was going on, they watched it for the first time. They were in awe. Um, it was just a beautiful experience to see the fact that, like, being able to visually see what it is we're trying to build, they get it, and now they want to support and they want to figure out how they can support. So the more people we can get doing that, the more people will be able to get supporting us, and the bigger this is going to be huge. So
Now, if this episode comes out after the
yeah.
time that you just said this is going to come out, how can the listeners and the viewers still get the documentary? How can they go about getting it?
Oh
Will it
yes,
be
yeah,
on
so
a platform?
it'll
Will
be
they
on
be
a
able to go to your
platform.
website?
Yeah, so go to our website, go to womenspba.com. You can go to womenspba.org. You can go on our social media handles, click the link tree, click watch now, and it'll go ahead and take you over to the documentary.
Okay, I'm gonna put all of that stuff you just said in the link to this bio
Yeah,
and YouTube and everywhere
it's
because I
it's
want
all
people to
on
see
Bench.
it.
Yeah, it's going to be on our streaming platform Bench, so they'll
Okay,
be able to watch
so
it there.
so I want everybody to be able to go and see it because I think it's worth seeing. And to be honest, I mean, I've followed women's basketball, but for me, it's kind of like hockey. You got to be there to actually see it. Hockey on television is boring. But it's just me. But when I went and actually watched the game and I saw 6'6" men skating as fast as they can, stopping on the dime, knocking people out and over, I'm like, this is crazy. I just, as an athlete, you respect the skill level. And when I
Absolutely.
was at the All-Star game, same thing. I'm like, these girls are big and they're
Yeah.
moving people around and the guards are legit and they're flying all around the floor and stuff. So I recommend that you come out and at least watch a WPBA game if you can, and definitely check out the movie, check out the documentary that it did. Now, how long did it take the documentary to get filmed?
It took about a whole year for
Oh
it to get
wow.
done. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So it's gonna go in depth. We're gonna know a lot about what's going on with the WPBA and everything, and you and everything, right?
Yeah. So it took literally a year to make. We did the filming, but throughout the whole process, it was just, constant editing, making sure we got the right clips to be able to really highlight and, invoke the type of feeling we needed the crowd to be able to feel when watching it.
For sure.
So, yeah, I'm excited for everyone to be able to watch it to really get just like a bird's eye view into what we've been doing here.
Faatimah, thank you for giving me your time, man. Thanks for sharing the WPBA stuff with my audience. I'm going to pitch this to my investment group again. We definitely going to get involved now. We know what time it is.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing for the community. Young girls are watching and it matters. What you're doing what you do matters, man. So I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for coming out and talking to me.
and thank you, Frank. I appreciate you. Seriously, the support, it matters. So I appreciate you for continuously buying in, telling people to come out and support. It means a lot. So I appreciate you.
It's another option for people, man, and that's what this show's about. What are you gonna do? When you graduate, you're done. You may not be able to play overseas. You may be able to play in the WPBA. It may extend you a little bit longer. You may see some people. You may get a coaching job. All kinds of things that happen. But I just want to make sure that people have, avenues for success.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Faatimah. I
Thank
will see
you.
you soon for sure. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. I'll talk to you soon.
Today, for our athlete spotlight, I want to highlight a young man who I've had a chance to watch play for a very, very long time. His name is Aidan Mahaney. Aidan was a very, very good high school basketball player in California. When he graduated, he got a full ride scholarship to St. Mary's College in Moraga, where he led the St. Mary's Gales to two West Coast Conference championships. After his time at St. Mary's, he transferred to UConn, played for the legendary Danny Hurley. The year after they won their national championship, this year he grad transferred, and now he's down in Southern California at UC Santa Barbara playing for Coach Joe Pasternack. So I want to welcome to the show, Coach on and off the court, the young man, Aidan Mahaney. Aidan, thanks for joining me, man, on Coach on and off the court, brother. How are you?
Doing well, man. Appreciate you having me.
Hey, I'm gonna set this up. Aiden, you don't remember this because you was too young. A long time ago, I was in the airport, and I was taking my son Trey with me at the time to a basketball tournament in LA. and I ran into Justin Joyner and Marcus Schroeder, right? And we were in the airport. For my watchers, my listeners, Marcus Schroeder now is the head coach at De La Salle. Justin Joyner's the assistant coach at the University of Michigan. And they pulled me to the side and they're like, Knight, we got the rawest fifth grade team in the state. I remember that specifically. I started laughing. I'm like, what? You have the best fifth grade team? And who they were talking about, and the team they were talking about was that MVP flight team that you played on. So that was the first time I remember you as a young player. So I got the opportunity to watch you play there. Of course, watching Camp Lindo, but I really got a chance to get my eyes on you when you played with my son Trey, and you guys played on that West Coast Elite team.
Yep.
Ryan Silver did a great job with that team. Brandon Cole was the head coach. He's at UOP right now, coaching one of my guys, Kellen Hampton. So I'm glad you're on the show, man. What's going on with you, Aidan? What's going on in your basketball career, man? What's going on? Give my listeners some knowledge about you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to my senior year at college right now. I've been at 3 different places, so kind of a windy journey. I was at 2 years at St. Mary's. Obviously, you know about that.
Yes, sir.
Over there with the
Well,
Gales and Moraga.
so tell us about St. Mary's. Let's take it one step at a time. Tell us about St. Mary's.
Okay.
I'm a St. Mary's alum. You're from
Yep.
Moraga. Tell us just about the experience. You won 2 West Coast Conference championships there.
Yes, sir. Yep. Yep.
You mean to run down
Two
about St.
five
Mary's?
season tournament as well. No, it was great. It was great. Being a hometown kid, I felt like it was the best place for me to develop and be able to go and play right away. And I was really comfortable with the coaching staff. RB, Mick, Joe, and obviously JJ had all been around kind of throughout my upbringing. And it was a joy, honestly. I mean, I feel like I learned so much. I got a lot of brothers from those two teams, and it was unbelievable. It was everything I could have asked for. I reached heights that I didn't even think I could reach so early on, and it was amazing. 2 5 seeds in the NCAA tournament to add on to that,
Yes,
and
sir.
a lot of wins over there.
Hey, as an alum, I was proud of that, man. You made us feel proud about St. Mary's, man. You know, Randy has done a great job. He's been to the tournament so many times, can't even count it. But that time was a great time in Moraga, great time to be a Gale. You pivoted. It ended up at UConn. So tell us about
Yep.
that experience. You played for the legendary Danny Hurley, man. Tell me a year-long playing and they had just won a national championship the year before you got there. So
Two
tell
of
me
them.
about that. 2 years. Tell me about that experience.
Yeah, I mean, coming into a back-to-back national championship situation was obviously a rare deal. You know, not a lot of guys can say that they did that. You know, from the moment you walk in, there's cameras, there's spotlights, and they followed you everywhere. So it was a unique deal. I really felt like it was a step towards professional basketball for me, just being at that high of a level, and absorbed as much information as I could. Coach Hurley and that staff were big time for me, especially Coach Hurley. Really took me under his wing, and obviously it was a season, a lot of ups and downs for me, but I think that that's exactly what I needed at that
For
stage
sure.
in my journey and to go through some
Absolutely.
adversity. And I think it's going to build me into a monster this year, to be honest. And I'm really excited to kind of show that to the world.
For sure. Adversity is the number one thing we need to be able to get to our goals, man. You have to go through something to get something. So now you're at Santa Barbara, sunny, nice Southern
Yes, sir.
California, playing for Coach Pasternack. Tell us about what you guys thinking about in Santa Barbara. You guys are in the Big West, right?
Big West, yes, sir.
Okay. So tell us about
Nah, it's
what's
been
going on
great.
with
I
Santa Barbara.
mean, yeah, it's been great. We got a good group coming in. We got four transfers. Miro Little from Utah, Hosanna Katenge from Louisiana, and another kid from Bakersfield named Marvin McGee. And then we brought in some good young pieces, and we got some good returners. And I'm really excited about this team. Honestly, a lot of talent, a lot of heart, guys that care. And for me, this is just another step in the journey. And my biggest thing is I've won everywhere. And Santa Barbara wasn't able to make it to the tournament the last couple of years. And I think Joe has done a really good job of putting a competitive mindset into everyone and installing that in practice. And my hope is to link arms with him, link arms with the coaching staff, and really make something happen this year for the University of Santa Barbara. So really excited about it. Super good opportunity. Happy to be closer to home, and yeah, couldn't be more excited for this year. And I think I got some things in store.
For sure. I know you do. Hey, this is your swan song, man. This is the final one, man. The last run, man. Hey, you got to give everything you got for this year. You got to put it all in, man. You only get one last time, man. So I'm definitely going to follow you. I know the people who are listening and watching are definitely going to follow you. What is the next plan? What's the next step? I know it's NBA, so what are you doing to prepare yourself now to be ready for that when it comes?
Yeah, our strength coach Luke Story has worked with multiple NBA teams, and he's been big time for me. Just trying to put on some weight right now and really get my lower body stronger, just to deal with the bumps and bruises throughout the season. Obviously, being in the Big East last year really showed me a new level of physicality,
For sure.
and I feel like I've adapted well to that and can really bring that little different level of toughness that UConn has and that the Big East has over here to the Big West. So definitely taking that step, and then obviously just staying sharp with my tools. I feel like that's a big thing. Is you got to stay in the gym every day. And that's what I've been planning on doing. Coach has set me up really nicely here. So real excited about that. I'd like to pivot for a sec right here and ask you a question, if you don't mind.
Oh
Um,
my goodness. Go ahead, Aiden.
I got you right here. What would you say was your biggest memory, regret, however you deal for your last year in college basketball? And kind of, if as a guy that's about to go through it, what would be your advice, leaving nothing on the table and whatnot?
My biggest advice to a senior going into their senior year in college and playing sports is to leave everything on the table. When you're done, you want to walk away feeling like I exhausted everything I could. I don't think I did that. You know what I mean? I think there was things that I could have done that I didn't do looking back on it. I worked hard, don't get it twisted. It's hard to play Division I basketball, but I didn't go all the way, all the way. We ended up losing in the semifinals to Gonzaga. And they had a really, really good team at that time. It wasn't actually, it was beginning to be the Gonzaga that we know. Richie Fromm and those guys, very, very good team. We ended up losing to them. So my advice to you and to anybody who's going through their senior year, you got to leave it all out there, man. Weight room, eat the weight room, wake up in the morning and shoot 2 and 3 times a day. Whatever it takes, your last time. When you walk away from the game, you want to be able to say, I did everything I could. You know what I mean? No regrets at all. So, Aiden,
No fun.
you have an agent yet?
I do, yeah. I'm actually with
Good,
Omar Samhan. He's a
good.
former St. Mary's
Ah,
legend himself
yes,
with
sir.
Klutch. So that's been
Yes,
really good. I
sir.
was able to go and work out with some Klutch guys this offseason in
Perfect.
LA at the Clippers facility. And that was a really good experience for me, kind of being around some high level pros. Obviously, they had Malawatch. They had a couple guys go in the first round, early second round. And they have a really good high school recruiting class coming up. So I'm really excited about, just being partnered with them. And Omar's done a really good job of taking care of me and looking out for my family and whatnot. So
For
really
sure.
happy to be partnered with him.
Omar and Calvin, great guys, man. You in a
Yep.
good situation at Clutch. Now, I missed your camp this weekend. You had a camp in Northern California at the Ultimate Fieldhouse. How'd it go?
Great. I mean, I really focused on the high school group this year, and we had an elite turnout. We had probably 15 plus Division I kids coming into the gym,
That's awesome.
and I surrounded them with Jalen Thompson from Stanford, myself, my big man from UCSB, Austin Johnson. A lot of these familiar faces that kind of come up through the
Yes.
ranks.
Yeah.
And it's really a joy for me because I get a win-win. I mean, I get to train these kids, I get to work out with these kids, and I get to bring a lot of my close hometown friends up together. So it's a really special deal. I actually reached out to your son, and he didn't get back to me. I know he's busy over there
Trey.
he's taking care of his deal, which I like. But
He's still
it's
grinding.
good.
He's trying to catch you. He's still grinding, man.
No question. We're all in this together. But yeah, man, it's a joy for me, and I'll have something coming out actually later this week about it. But
For
big
sure.
time thing. Had a lot of big time players. Couple Reardon, Salesian, Cal High, Akalani's, kind of all over the
Good.
Bay, and we just bring them all together and try to make something happen. And it was all free. I'm really just trying to give back to the youth and give them something that I didn't have as a platform to see what it's like to go to that next level and see what the work is like, see what the intensity is like, and just compete.
Hey, thank you, Aiden, for taking time, man. Hey, pan around. You in the locker room. I want my people to see you in the locker room. He
I got
working. He
support
not
right
leaving.
here.
That's right. He
I
getting
got
it
support right
done
here.
right
Come on,
there.
man.
Hey, thank
Come
you for
on.
taking time to talk to me, man. Hey, tell your mom I said hello. Mom's is awesome. Family is great, man. Hope the brother's good. Everybody's good, man. Thank you for coming on, man. Appreciate you.
Much love. Appreciate you, fam.
All right. I want to thank Faatimah Amon-Ra from the WPBA for stopping in today and spending time with us, telling us about the league and where she sees it going in the future. They also have a documentary coming out, The Town Takes the World. Great chopping it up with her. Awesome spending time just learning more about what she's doing with the WPBA and women's basketball. I want to thank Aidan Mahaney for taking time out of his workout schedule, for dropping in with us, giving us a little bit of insight on his drive and on his grind, trying to get to the next level. And thank you for tuning in again for Coach on and off the court. My name is Coach Frank Knight. Thank you. If you like what you're hearing, like, subscribe, share, even set up notifications. I'll see you next time. Peace.